started the last two times, right? I think so. If so, we should be good. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Chasin Tails podcast. I believe this is episode 12. Kind of still do some more recapping, chatting about the races these past 2 weekends between Sorrel Tracy. What was it last weekend out west?
Black Lake.
Black Lake was last, and then where were was Richland this weekend. And then talk a little bit about Brockville coming up later this week. So Bob, obviously you weren't here last week. You got any takeaways from Sorrel that you'd like to share?
Well, it looked rough. The guys and girls tried to handle it the best that they could. Many did a good job trying to drive in that those rough conditions. A couple people had some issues, so we're all keeping Bert in our thoughts and wish him a speedy recovery. I know from experience that type of accident is not fun. I had the same injury Bert did, and it's painful, but could have been worse. So we our type of racing came a long ways with safety gear, and luckily Bert had all the right safety gear, or it could have been a lot worse. So
yeah, I think like he said, without that Hans, things could have been significantly worse. And go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too far ahead.
I mean, there's some people. I mean, I haven't really noticed in HRL, but there's some people in APBA I have seen in boats without a Hans. Get a Hans device. It doesn't even have to be a Hans. It could be a Simpson. It can be another brand. Get a head neck restraint. You need one. You are going faster than you are doing a car, and I don't know. I don't know what else to
Water's
say.
concrete.
I would have broke my neck if I didn't have one. Bert would have broke his. They save lives. They do a tremendous job when needed. Just like safety cells. I mean, you all race in safety cells, so get a Hans too. Get a head neck restraint.
I forgot what it was, but I know Dan Canfouche posted a picture of, and like Bert's was obviously a little bit more significant, but posted a picture of Eddie's G-force data when he
When he spun out.
Hooked it. Yeah, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but for some reason I want to say like 2.7 or something like that at its peak.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean
so that's
in a 2.5. I mean, you get in a bigger boat, you're pulling more G's when you stop like that. It's pretty painful, and you take every safety measure that you can to protect yourself when you're out there racing at these high speeds. I mean, I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I never wore a head neck restraint. There's been a couple times where, like in the 2.5, I'm like, oh, I don't need it. I get out there, my head's bouncing around. I'm like, I need that thing. Just like I didn't want to air mask when my parents bought me one and said, if you don't wear this, we're not going to any more races. I didn't want it, but the next weekend I flipped.
Did you have the air mask?
I had the air mask.
There you go.
But
doesn't matter much for you. You're out in like
3 seconds.
Yeah.
All the safety stuff goes out the window, and Bob's already undoing his belts midair.
I wanted to tell the dive team, when you're doing the capsule test, they're like, wait until you're upside down to start taking things off. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't wait until I land in a boat either way, so it doesn't matter. It's just funny, like the whole sequence, like your lid, your steering wheel, your belts. I'm like, I don't do that sequence. I'm like my hands are going 100 miles an hour just grabbing things to make sure I get out. But so what else happened up in Sorrel? We had obviously Bert's thing.
We had a lot of beat up boats.
I know,
like, so GP50 got beat up. Bobby King got beat up. Allard's got beat up. I don't think there was much damage on Matisse's. I think his was fine.
Didn't someone's belly pants start coming out in their cockpit? Their escape hatch.
Racine. Yeah, Racine. They had to
Racine?
fix that. Yeah, I was like right under the seat.
Oh, I think was Tyler telling me that his escape hatch came open too.
That doesn't surprise me. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if that happened to a few people this weekend.
One of the scary things is when you're driving along and all of a sudden your escape hatch comes open at over 100 miles an hour. Ask Scott Kropfeld how that went for him.
Yeah, dude.
That
happened to a few unlimited guys, didn't it? Didn't that happen
I'm
to
not
Chip
sure.
the one year in the Bud?
It might have.
I think it happened in Detroit.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling when you look down between your legs and your escape hatch is going up and down.
That's definitely one I'm hoping to avoid. That would be ideal. There's a lot of good racing though. I don't know how much of the stream you were able to catch.
I caught a fair amount. Definitely caught your heats and the GP heats. GPs, they're that's getting interesting. Ken Lupton is smoking fast.
Yeah.
Steelers always fast. Brandon's fast. Or I'm sorry, the wild one. I can't Hydrofish, the Steeler, the wild one. They used to be the Crush. I don't know, man. But
a lot of names.
A lot of names. Just say that damn boat. That damn boat.
Last weekend was good for them HRL points wise between 35 missing the one heat, Ken breaking down in the other heat. Got a pretty good cushion going into the challenge series, and then Rockville this weekend. Well, I guess they won't be in Rockville this weekend, but
that's I think that's going to mix it up. I mean, you're splitting the GPs into two, which Brockville, HRL, Guntersville, and GPA need. If they haven't talked already, right after this weekend, they need to start talking about next year where this doesn't happen again, because you cannot take the GP class and split them in half. It's not good for either race. It's not good for either series. And plus, I don't, if I was driving the 35 this weekend, I wouldn't want to be just racing against the few GPs. Now, I mean, it's going to be more than a few, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is I'd want everyone there. And it's not fun, when half your class is racing somewhere else. I mean, yeah, it's cool that they're meeting up at Madison, but I mean,
yeah, I know. I think we talked about it in an earlier podcast. Brandon had mentioned that it was kind of necessary compromise to get this GP series off the ground this year.
Yeah,
hopefully they can get that figured out. I mean, they're both wildly different, but still entertaining courses when watched in the right spot. I mean, in Guntersville, getting stuck in the pits isn't always ideal for watching a race, but if you can make it over to the beach, you're not going to get a much better view of a race. I mean, it's basically 40 feet out, 50 feet out, and right in front of you.
Yeah. All right, we got off track. Sorrel. So I think the S class, besides Matisse, handled themselves better in the rough water than a lot of other classes. I don't know if that's because of speed difference, but F class is the same speed, so that throws that theory out the window. So the S class handled it way better. I mean, I don't know if you guys were driving with your heads better, and I don't know, but 350s didn't handle it well. GPs just the halls themselves didn't like that rough water.
No, they got through it. Like, I think for the most part without like mass, like obviously Brody's situation, but like, I don't remember seeing anything in the GPs that like got close to what happened with Burt, where it actually got up and all the way over.
That's true
on the front.
That's
but
true. Yeah,
I mean, those things kind of just plow through stuff a little better than a 350 too. I mean, GPs are huge.
But you brought up Brody. I have to point out, even though he damaged his boat, he was driving his butt off that heat.
Yeah, he was.
That
was what I was saying.
That man was hauling the mail.
I don't know if it broke like during the heat or in the cool down. I don't think it mattered.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He wasn't lifting. That dude, he was on fire that heat. Yeah. I'm like, that's how Brody needs to drive from now on. That looked great. I'm like, I was excited for him. It looked really
Yeah,
good.
I was excited, and then I was like, saw him coming in the pits, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it just got worse and worse as you slow down and just start
Yeah.
funneling water into it. But I don't know if you saw a picture. I mean, it's like a 6 foot. It was
Oh,
like 6 foot.
it's massive. It's massive. And then it looks like Ken carried his speed over from Cambridge to Sorrel. He definitely still looked really fast.
Mhm.
Time wise, you know, you had a few boats that were there in times. But
Yeah.
and Jack Lupton, man. If he can get through a corner good, that dude will be right up front.
That's what I was telling Dad
He
earlier on the
has a
phone.
smoking straightaway speed.
Yeah.
It's just something is up with his boat, and it's just not getting through the corner correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I know that with that haul, he has been struggling getting through the corner, but I'm sure he'll figure it out. Hopefully, figures it out for the series because I don't know. The series is going to be awesome. How
I
did the
mean,
skiffs do at Sorrel?
They handled it fine. I didn't see anything like wild happen. I know I talked to a couple of them, like Max and Sam and them, and they said it was rough, but um, I don't know. It didn't seem like anything too crazy. I mean, the skiffs,
Yeah,
when it's rough, usually that's the first one you'll see some wild stuff happening in them. Them are
Yeah.
350s. 350s just they do wild stuff every time, man.
yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
why they're
that's
so
true.
fun to watch.
All right. Did they have the J stocks on at Sorrel?
They did. They had them on Sunday morning.
How did they go? How did they do?
The Sunday morning it was nice. There was not bad
Oh, was
water. They went out there because they like kind of run their whole circuit in the morning, and they ran probably 5-6 heats, something like that,
They
for the
ran
first
everything
hour on
the whole
Sunday.
weekend
Started at
Sunday.
like 8:45 or something, maybe even earlier than that, and just
That's good. They got
ripped
the
through
kids
it.
out there. That's awesome.
We were talking about it last week, and I went up to watch the final, and I think it's just all of them. They just throw them all out there,
Yeah.
and the cut in the course and all the mill-in rules. There's none of them. There was like 6 of them sitting there doing donuts around the same buoy. It was awesome. I had no idea what was going on, but I was like, they know what they're doing. Power to them.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun to watch, though. I know when we first showed up to the pits on Saturday, I was like, yeah, they ain't putting those things out there, man. I think we're gonna have a couple ejections if we send these kids out.
We have to get a J stock and take the restrictor plate out just so we can mess with it in the lake.
That would be fun.
It'll with that because they have restrictor plates in them. If you take them out, it does some decent speed.
Yeah, I would that or one of the ones they run in that
Top
what do you
O,
call
Top
it?
O, the marathon.
No, out in
No?
Australia, the kind of the junior class. They're like little, almost like
Oh, you're talking about
they're
where
not.
you sit down like we do, but with the
Yeah,
outboard and it's a V bottom.
yeah,
Oh yeah, they
yeah.
look like a blast.
They look
Yeah.
like, dude, out on a lake. That would be so much fun.
What was that? What was that thing? It was you or Brandon tagged us in it where the boats had the cages and it was like a quarter mile course where
they race them in the F1 powerboat circuit. They're Texas
really?
Tri-Hulls.
Texas
That's what I heard him
Tri-Hulls.
say. That's what I heard him say on the stream. They look like a blast, man.
That's what inboard needs to do. Spice it up a little bit. We have too many hydro classes. We have a skiff class. All right, I can't knock flat bottoms.
Bob's got a lot of ideas.
They showed up to Decatur. You know, at Waterford one year we had the inflatables, the Thunder Ducks or whatever. I rode in one. Those are wild. But you know, there were some of those Texas Tri-Hulls or whatever out in there. That would be.
I love how they do the NASCAR style starts. Those things are interesting.
But yeah, you showed me that video and they're just going to the corner and just slam into each other.
It's bumper boats, man. It's totally bumper boats. It looks like a blast. Yeah, like we said earlier in the year, man, especially this weekend, you know, unfortunately Bobby King's boat got messed up, but that really made the point situation much more interesting in that class. He's got a bunch of ground to make up now, and I'm not going to say he can't do it because we've seen what that boat does, man.
I never underestimate Bobby King, especially in that boat. That boat is it's something special. That thing is a rocket.
Yeah, you saw some boats. I mean, even Fred and Fred's like up there in points if I remember right. I had looked earlier this week. Can't remember exactly what it was, but you know, it was rough, and he was one of 2 people to not get a penalty, second place.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes in 350 class, that's all you got to do.
Fred's a good driver. Fred's a good driver. He's quiet.
I mean, it was rough. So. I mean, like, if you're not out front in that heat, I wouldn't have been doing anything. I would have been driving around like it was a cool down lap. I I mean, he was coming through the turns, and that thing would get like 2 feet out of the water and then come in, hit it again. It looked like a jet ski.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah. So I
But-
did notice. So I think it was the F final. Was it the F final? It might have been. But I got to give a shout out to Grant Liddycoat. That dude nailed the start. Wait, no, it wasn't the
No, it
final.
was a qualifier. I think it was the second qualifier.
He
on
nailed
Sunday.
the start and was freaking
Yeah.
just gone. It was awesome.
It was the
That's,
second or the first, but that was the one where him. It was Eddie won. I believe
Yeah,
Grant
John
2. Or no,
Oh,
Grant 2.
Grant 2.
0-3, and like Sam
Okay.
Tremblay and 4.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
they came
yeah.
through turn 2, it was like one after the other. And
Yeah.
like if you were in the right spot, you would see all 4 of them coming around the turn at the same time. It was a cool sight. They were all right there at the start, but Grant was like at the line.
Oh, that's we talk about. I think we talk about Canfouche and Shaw, but for Grant's first year in the F class, he's doing really good. Generally, like when someone goes up to the F class, you think they're going to struggle a bit, which is generally what happened in the past. You didn't have someone come up just run 1, 2, or 3, stepping up from the S class,
Mhm.
but Grant's doing it, and that's pretty impressive. So hats off to him. He's doing
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah, you can tell he picked the sport up, and kind of there's more to it than just being comfortable in the boat. And I mean, getting a boat fast, being able to help with setup.
Yeah.
There's drive craft, and I think or racecraft, whatever you want to call it, which I think applies a little more in the F class with more experienced drivers. And it's not necessarily just your racecraft, but knowing what other drivers' tendencies are. How tight they'll hold you in the turn, or if they'll give you room. And I mean, shit, that Grant was like, screw your racecraft. I'm just gonna beat you to the first turn.
Yeah.
I think he's sitting second or third in the championship, kind of nipping at Eddie's heels. Obviously, Eddie took a pretty big hit in that final, not getting a finish. But so now that class has got 3-4 boats in the mix. 350's got 3-4 in the mix. I didn't look at skiff high points. I think Jimmy's got a pretty solid lead, and then I would imagine it's Max and Sam in second.
Okay.
So they've been running really well this year.
Yeah. I noticed, especially at Decatur, how much Sam and Max were more up towards the front, mixing it up. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was really fun to watch in Decatur, and they did really good this weekend too. Jimmy's fast. I mean, at the end of their day,
Yeah,
it's always been fast. So it's going to be a tough out, no matter where you're at. Grand Prix still pretty tight up at the front. Obviously, Andrew's got a little bit of a lead now, but
yeah.
I mean, really, every class 2 weeks in, or third of the way, it's still
he's got a little bit of a lead, but you have to think boats are splitting up this weekend. Both races get HRL points.
Yep.
Gunther'sville and Madison.
But it's only GP in Guntersville, I think. I don't think the 350s.
Yes, just GP, because there's no 350s going to
that's right.
Guntersville.
That's right.
So that's gonna kind of mix the points up a little bit. I mean, say Andrew runs, they're not Andrew, Tommy Thompson, but say that boat goes and runs thirds all weekend, and Ken Lupton goes run firsts all weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to shake up the points quite a bit.
It will get him closer, but I'm pretty sure Andrew's got a decent gap, because I think he was already like 10 points ahead, and then I don't know if I'm gonna look. I don't know if they gave final points or if it just determined places as it is, because they obviously didn't run the final.
They shouldn't have gave points for the fun. I mean, yeah, you had someone's the right way would be you already you got your good points through the weekend, you don't get your final. It's not like I mean, that would be horrible if they gave away. They were
one well, technically 2 heats short if you count the final or rounds of heats. Because they only got the one qualifier each day.
Yep. As long as everyone runs the same amount of heats, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So
I know S and F got their 30 points a day, or for Saturday, like the default 30 that everybody gets, since we didn't get to run. They did squeeze 2 of our heats in on Sunday.
Here's a scenario. with points being split, Guntersville and Madison, keep saying Madison, Brockville, what happens if one gets blown out or rained out due to weather?
Let's just hope that does not happen.
If it happens, I don't care if it happens to Guntersville or if it happens to Brockville. You don't give free points away. You don't say, well, it's not fair. They didn't get the race. It is fair. Watch the weather the week before. Pick which one you should go to if you're really going after points. I mean,
the only problem is you can't race sites don't need to be not knowing who's showing up until 2 days before the race.
Man, I will tell you what. If I was a boat owner and I was going for points, I would be looking at the weather and trying to pick which one.
Oh, I'm not saying that people wouldn't or won't.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know. That's why you try not to have two.
I mean, because when you give owners options, they're going to pick something, right? They're not going to always go with the best thing. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like we said, hopefully this is something they can sort out moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, they have to. Why is my thing not coming?
Change your
He
light.
just muted himself too.
You muted yourself, dude.
You muted yourself.
Why do they have to make this thing so sensitive?
Why did you touch it?
Yeah, why do you have to have one brain cell?
Were you able to find any results for Richland?
Hey, was there any comments yet going?
Likely.
Yeah, we got a few.
Anyone asking any questions?
I don't see any questions yet.
No.
Brian Goodwin said, "Bob, you were too big for a hydro."
Which is what the
there's more to it.
Novice motors are, but there's still a crap load of other classes you could run. B, 20, OSY, C, and D. Want to go almost 90 miles an hour?
In an outboard, that'd be a good time, man.
I'm not sure. I might have to work.
Bob,
I might have to work my way up.
Bob would be like a skipping stone, man. He'd just be skipping across the water.
I remember we were up at Chris Ritz's and we were running his outboard last year, and the kid came in and he's like, "Oh, I want the fastest." I'm like, "Put me in that thing." And I came back in. I'm like, "How fast I go?" He's like, "You beat me by 1 mile an hour." I'm like, "Who's the fastest now?"
That was after you walked the 2.5 about.
I don't think I was walking it. I'm pretty sure I was hanging it.
Hanging it 8 feet from the pontoon boat with Mom in it.
I'm just pissed off I didn't get closer to the pontoon boat. I really just wanted to get this far away from the pontoon boat.
You got some spray on her, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely got a little wet. Mom's gonna bring us the Richland results here in a minute, but
okay.
I think probably highlight of the weekend, Jeff Bernard setting an E350 record. Beat it by what? I think it was 102.4 or something. That he
I think it was Wally Johnson's previous record, which
same boat.
Wally set it in that boat, so that was cool, and Wally was there.
Yep.
So it's good to see him at a race. Wally ran for many years, and the guy has been around the sport doing great things. So it's pretty cool to see him around. But congrats to Jeff Bernard. Man. Congrats to Jeff Bernard for setting that record. Not his first
the record of the mile and a quarter with a 104.058 average.
Nice.
Fast.
Not his first record he's ever set. He's gotten one in the 5-liter too. Well, before 350s. So that's pretty cool for him. I think
he's got
Justin Wymouth and the whole team. Oh, I'm just talking about 355.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Yeah, no, that's cool. I know they've been trying to dial that boat in this year, and I think from Saturday to Sunday, I know water conditions were a little better, but it seemed, if I remember, the post strike picked up like 2 mile an hour. So
do we have anyone in the waiting lobby?
No, I haven't seen anybody.
So,
okay.
so what, Kyle Detweiler? You don't like our facial hair? He said we need to invest in a razor.
Kyle's just mad he can't grow a beard.
Oh damn! I do want to. Our mom reminded us give a shout out to Dave Williams. He, I believe he's a friend of Ronnie's. Drove all the way up to Sorrel from Maryland to watch last weekend.
Oh, nice.
That is
That's
quite
pretty cool.
the poke to be making for just to spectate. So shout
Yeah,
out
that's
to you.
awesome.
Thanks for coming and supporting. Hope we put on a good show for you. Hope travels aren't too bad. Seemed
That's
it
pretty
was
cool.
all right for us. Nothing too bad on traffic. So hopefully it was the same for everybody. So, but yeah, I know we'll circle back on Richland results once we get them. But like we said, cool. Congrats to Jeff on Bob, did you send him the link?
Yeah.
Here, Jeff, I'm gonna post it in this the comments for you.
Is he trying to get in?
Do you mind doing that for me?
I sent him the link. Maybe it just didn't go through because this
I don't
one
know.
does not.
Don't get AT&T. That's the lesson of this
AT&T
podcast.
sucks.
AT&T sucks. Don't use it. Worst choice ever.
Oh, I don't think that's the right link.
Half the time I want to send my phone through my front windshield. I seen one time I was, it's an old boat racer, Tommy Snyder. I was working with him one time, and he had his phone, and we're driving down the road, and his phone stopped working, so he got pissed off. He threw it at the windshield. It landed on the floor. I looked up. His windshield's just busted, right? And he just ignores it. He picks his cell phone up. He goes, "Oh, it's working." I'm like, "Yeah, but your windshield's busted, bud."
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's can't say I'm any different. I've thrown a few phones. Phones are just frustrating, man.
Yeah.
I'd say
So,
I probably hold. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying I probably hold some sort of record for cracked phones over my lifetime.
I think you do. So we kind of touched on it already, but this weekend is the start of the GP Challenge, GPA and HRL, with all the Grand Prix in North America attending. This is pretty cool. This is something that's never happened before. I mean, you might have had 17, 18, whatever back in the day, but you never had this many fast Grand Prix racing each other for a 3-race series. I wouldn't say it's a short series. I know it's 3 races, but you're going to have to push every heat, every final to try to be high up in the point standings at the end of this 3-weekend challenge.
Yeah.
You got so many boats entering. You have so much competition. This is going to be the holy grail series of GP, and it's going to be pretty awesome to watch.
Here we go.
Oh, we got Jeff.
We'll circle back.
I believe he's just audio. What's up, buddy? How are you doing, Jeff?
You hear us? Let's see.
Let's see.
Should be playing.
You there?
Make it full screen, not just bigger.
Did you boot him?
I don't think so. I think he left. Tried to join back.
Oh, okay. Maybe he needs to click when you get in. You have to click.
Yeah,
Click
you gotta
that
select
if you're using microphone, not microphone, or headphones or whatever.
Yeah.
He probably has to select that he's not using headphones. Or headphones. Jeff, if you're using headphones, select headphones. I don't know what you're using. I know you're using your cell phone right now.
Maybe one day we'll get good at this technology stuff. But
he already missed work yesterday because he had to go through inspection.
Yeah. Did they do inspection yesterday or?
Yeah, they did it yesterday.
Okay.
As far as I know, I believe he said that.
Are the record inspections? I would imagine are like there's what 3 levels or something like that.
I saw a picture. I believe his whole engine was torn
Oh,
down.
I was gonna
yeah,
say it looked
it
like it
looked-
was in total pieces,
Yeah.
which sucks. But I guess that's the price of setting records. Worth it, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Go back to what you're saying about the
So the series, it's going to be pretty awesome. You're going to have boats you haven't
Oh.
seen out yet.
Here we go. Let's see if we can get it to work this time.
Hey,
you
what's
hear
up,
us?
Jeff?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
What's up,
buddy.
man?
How are you?
Good.
So, congratulations on your record over the weekend. That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long 8-9 months now working on that boat.
Yeah.
It all finally paid off. I'm surprised so soon. That was always the end goal, but we'll take it. 4 races in.
So,
Yeah.
did you know right away that you had the record, or did you have to wait for them to tell you?
I did. I've been running a lap magic in the boat this year, and we've been having problems. And so I had a regular stopwatch in there. I checked it before the heat. I was pretty synced up, so I knew the time was 2:55, and I crossed at 2:53. So I knew there was a pretty good chance.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. How excited was Justin to get the record?
He was pretty happy. He didn't believe me when I opened the lid up, and I said, I just looked at him and said, "We got it." And it takes a couple minutes before they come over the radio and say. I think I was already out of the boat when Codling announced on the PA. They were on a little bit of hold because they're checking some times, and I think that's when it started sinking in for them.
Yeah, they when they're checking on the judges stand, it might be 2 minutes, but it feels like it's an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
I was fairly confident. It was pretty sketchy water all weekend long. Not rough for us out here, or rough for Black Lake, though. And the wind kept changing from front stretch to back stretch. Uh, One heat it was up the back stretch, the next heat it was up the front stretch, and when it's up the front stretch, it kind of swirls, so it makes the boat pull to the infield really hard. So you got to give it a little right, which picks up the right spots and it gets some people in trouble there. And it was pretty sketchy. It was really sketchy in the 1 liter.
how did you do on the 1 liter over the weekend?
We went 4 for 4. Tim and Mike still having some little bit of issues. The motor's running pretty decent, but they're nowhere near what that thing's capable of. Have some steering and skid fin issues that making it impossible for Mike to run the boat. But I think even on their best day, they're not going to just drive around us and beat us by a half a straightaway nowadays.
Yeah.
But I still, they're the fastest boat. There's no doubt about it. We're just getting lucky. They have issues, but we're running the best we ever have too. So
Well, keep awesome indicator.
Just keep digging. I mean, sometimes that's what high points comes down to. Someone struggles, you gain a little bit on points, and you just keep digging and see what you got at the end of the year.
Yeah, we battled them 2022, won high points. I don't know how many heats Tim. Well, he actually it was coming down to Caesar's Creek, and then it's when Bobby King blew it over. Could have went down to Lakeland, and he still would have had a shot, but Tim folded at that point after the blowover, and we locked it up. Then we didn't run last year, so this year and the last time we ran, we've been in a points battle with them all the way to the end. So I'm sure this year's going to be no different. And we're not going to hit 15. So consistency is going to be a huge thing this year.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be pretty interesting to watch unfold throughout the season. So you're driving the GP 79. What rate? So tell us how excited or what are you looking forward to this this GP challenge that's coming up starting this weekend?
Well, we've decided that we're we're going to focus on GPA this year, just the way the schedule went, and Sorrel being backed up against Richland. And last year we all flew up to Sorrel, and it didn't happen. It's a great race site, but man, it's tough for an owner to make a decision to go there when if they're not running in the series. We had some boat damage after the final heat in Cambridge. Kent Henderson had to step in, and the back non-trip had come apart. So too big of a risk. It wasn't painted before Sorrel anyways, but even if we went up there to risk breaking the boat, Mike Grindel's put a lot of time and effort into getting this challenge series off and supporting GPA and getting GPA big in the States. So we had to make sure that the boat was in one piece to hit Gunnersville, Madison, and Valleyfield. Obviously, Valleyfield's the one we're looking at after the last couple of years of our bad luck there, but any one of them will take a win. It's Tri-Cities last year feels like a long time, and we want to beat the top caliber boats. So this is our opportunity to go out and race top caliber boats. The 3 race challenge series.
Yeah, what do you think about all the competition that's just going to be showing up at this GP challenge this year?
Wow, I mean, we've been seeing it in HRL the last couple of years. The amount of boats, the class is completely different than 5 years ago. There was 1 or 2 boats that were really fast, and then there was some middle, and then there was some back of the pack guys. That's not the case anymore. If you look at Valleyfield time trials the last 3 years on how tight everybody's been, and then the time trials in Cambridge, which was bad water, but we were all pretty tight together. And the boats that were in the final were the boats that deserved to be in the final there.
Yeah.
Do you think that we will see a consistent top 2 or top just 1 winner throughout the series, or do you think it'll be different every weekend?
Gunnersville, Madison, I think favor West Coast, even though that's not what's happened in the final heats. Last year's course was interesting. It favored lane 1. We had a couple problems there, which that's when our mags started showing signs of it was going to be tricky through the season. Hop's been working on their stuff, so they're always fast on a big course, but they went back to the narrower turn course. So I don't think lane 1's going to be as big as an advantage, but it's still a 1.25 mile race course with bigger turns than the HRL boats are set up for. And I think that's where we do a really good job on our team is we got to set up for all courses. We can run really fast on 1 2/3. We can run really fast on 1.25 miles, and we can run pretty fast on a mile. So some of the West Coast boats, Brian Richards and them, they're still learning. They got 2 boats. Unfortunately, 20 pulled out Saturday in Black Lake. They blew up their motor, so they're not going east now, which is unfortunate. Ed Preston, the GP20.
Oh,
Larry
really?
Lynn.
Oh,
That sucks.
Those guys can't buy good luck.
No, man. They've been
for the last 5 years. It's just been brutal for them. Yeah.
Damn.
Such a nice looking boat too. Love to see that thing on the water.
And they're extremely fast on 1 3/3. They got some crazy straightaway speed, and they're bigger, they're heavier. So when they gets wound up, it runs good. But man, they can't keep a motor in it, or when they do, it catches on fire, or it blows over, and it's like you couldn't make the stuff up that they go through.
Yeah.
Now, we know everyone wants to win Valleyfield, but just the prestigious put aside of winning Valleyfield, what race do you think you are going to excel at over the other 2?
I hope all of them.
We were good. That's the right answer right there.
We were really good at Gunnersville last year. We had that mag issue in the 1 heat when I was way out front, and that was going to be the fastest timed heat of the weekend. And unfortunately, it went dead, but somehow got it started, so it didn't really hurt me as far as points for the weekend. And we never got to run the final, so we never know what will happen there. And then Madison, we were fast testing. we were struggling through the heats, and we completely changed our whole way of thinking with the gears and propellers in the final. And the thing was a rocket ship. I ended up jumping the gun, miscommunication or whatnot on the radios and my clock. I jumped the gun by, I think, by a second or two, but Andrew was trying for 2 laps and he was not getting any closer. And I had no idea I jumped until like the 3rd lap. So I think we got a good setup there after last year from Sunday, and then Valleyfield. We put everything the last 3 years into there to get where we are in speed there. And last year on Friday in time trials, I would have loved to have a full lap with all 8 cylinders, because when we went into that corner, it was the fastest I've ever entered the first turn in Valleyfield. We were almost 156 entering that turn, and then the head broke and we dropped a cylinder, and we still qualified like 4th, 5th.
Yeah.
That's
I'm excited to get to Valleyfield again.
Yeah, time trials in Valleyfield last year. I've seen them, over the years several different times, but that was probably the most exciting I've ever seen them. I know I heard back in the day they were really, really cool. But that last year was awesome, man. We had a couple near blowovers. We had some really fast speeds. So I think this year's just going to be another step above.
Valleyfield is a unique course in any class. GP is absolutely insane. It is 100% driver. I mean, obviously, if you can have a fast boat and a good setup there, you're going to be fast. But Luptons have been fast there, and they've qualified. Last year, they qualified on top, but there's been years where they've been 4th and 5th. Just how you enter turn 2. Sometimes it's faster to take it easier into turn 2, because you get better momentum up the front stretch, and all about how you pick your line before you do that hot lap. But there is nowhere in the world doing a hot lap more fun than Valleyfield. You're out there by yourself. It's the calmest water you're going to see there all weekend long. And I don't know if HRL has made a decision, but they have talked about, if there's time, us doing 2 time trials on Friday, since we only typically test in the morning and then do the late afternoon right before the 350 final. They're talking about keeping that one there and doing one midday. So we may have 2 shots out there to do some hot laps, which as a driver, it's awesome. It's fun.
That'll be pretty cool. So is Justin going to toss that engine back together and come to Valleyfield, or what?
No. Our number one goal for the season was to win High Points.
Okay.
Last year, that was our goal. And what was it? Chelan, I grenaded the motor and I didn't get it back till mid-July. And we completely changed our motor program after that. Finished the season. We won like every heat except for 2 last year that we finished. So we decided not to go east last year once we missed, I think we missed 2 races. And so this year we were putting all the efforts into trying to get both boats 1-2 and concentrating on that. So out here, the weekend of Valleyfield is Oak Harbor. So the boats got to stay here.
Oh, okay. So who's going to drive? Who's going to drive that weekend?
I think we're going to be making an announcement here pretty soon. It'll be somebody pretty good who knows how to wheel a boat. I can tell you that.
Cool.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
But also the motor that we run in that boat is the HRL style motor, which you have to weigh 1,700 pounds compared to the motor in the 20, and the other 2 that came with the boat when we bought it are motors you don't have to weigh 1,700 pounds. You can 1,525, which nobody's down at that weight. Most typically, if you're running that motor option, you're like 1,600, 1,620. So when you're looking for drivers, it's kind of hard to run that motor package. You have to have somebody that's around my weight, which that's not, there's nobody that we were looking at around that weight. So that's the other factor of we got to put that other motor in so that we can have a lighter driver. Because I'd have to add like 50, 60 pounds to the boat, and I'm not going to do that.
No, that's
No.
a pain. Big
Huh.
pain.
Interesting. Well, hopefully you guys keep running strong with that and keep going out there and kicking some ass. I was shocked to hear the speed. I was like, oh wow. I'm like, he picked up a lot of speed from Decatur to when you set the record over the weekend.
Yeah, we came home. We ran Richland. Richland is, that's a river course, rough water, tight turns. Didn't really do anything, but when Wally was there this weekend, started talking to him. We made some strut adjustments. We were kind of maxed out where we were on it. So even yesterday, after inspection, when we started putting the other motor in the boat, we had made more modifications to the strut. So we've been playing around with that. I don't know if it was changed after Wally had it or not, but we were able to bring that up a lot, which freed the boat up a lot more. And we had a brand new propeller first time on the boat this weekend. Ran 3 heats with it, and the third heat it broke a record straight off the machine.
Not
That's
bad,
awesome.
man.
Good
Not
stuff.
bad.
Good stuff.
Say that's
So-
a keeper then, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Scott's probably enjoying the week off because I called him every day last week. And, was hounding him to have that ready by Friday when I left.
Hey,
That's
paid off.
funny.
Paid off.
So it's Tuesday. When are you leaving for Guntersville?
We're
Gunters.
on the red eye, our typical red eye favorite flight. Get in Friday morning and drive from Huntsville over.
Oh, okay. So you're leaving last minute, so you can work all week, so you can take next week off to go to Nashville.
I wish. That's always but
That would be what's up.
now that the way the calendar falls, I mean, it's 3 weeks in a row I'm coming home, and then on 4th of July flying back to Madison with the family, and then we're taking the whole week off for Valleyfield.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
awesome.
That's cool.
And playing around. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Nice.
It's a cool little stretch where you got these next 3 weeks. A lot of boat racing, cool venues. It's gonna be
for sure.
It's kind of like a midsummer vacation with a little bit of work in between.
Yeah.
Has anyone checked the weather for Guntersville? Are you guys going to have heat stroke down there or what?
I heard it's extremely hot, but no wind.
Awesome.
That's good. There we go. It's good.
Even Madison's supposed to be pretty hot too.
It's not bad right now. It was up only at 87 today. But the humidity was up to 70, 79, 80. The humidity was up to 80 today, so 80%. So yeah, it's going to be a little warm down there. So
one more thing I wanted to ask you about, Jeff, with the T class and Madden running the restrictor plate. How's that all going?
Good. I think after this weekend we're really close. My goal has been, we've been starting them on the outside. I don't want them to be able to drive around anybody on the outside or everybody on the outside. When we get it to that point, I want him to go to the inside, and if he does everything right, he should win the heat. It's been kind of tricky because this weekend, I think we were all really close on the speed. He had speed on everybody but Haley. He was out in lane 4 and he got a bunch of seconds and stuff. So we didn't ever let him go to the inside. He would have won. But actually, Haley's GPS, we don't have the race pack in it yet. So just going off of the GPS is like how SA, the flat bottom class, does it. And Haley's GPS showed the slowest down the straightaway out of the top 3 boats all weekend. But she was annihilating them.
Yeah.
And Madden was the 3rd fastest, but he was pretty easily getting second. So I think when we were in Richland, it's hard to figure out. We got to come up with one restrictor plate for every race course. Well, when you choke these things down, it's not really straightaway speed that comes down, but when you choke them too far down, then they don't run in the turns. And that's At Richland, when you get those tight turns, we put a 700. We've been doing them in 100,000s for the opening. So this last batch that we have made, we put a 700 in, and the thing wouldn't even run in Richland. He was half a lap behind, 3/4 a lap behind.
Okay.
So we put the 800 back in, and I wanted to put the 700 in, but Marty was scared that based on Richland, it wouldn't run. So we couldn't go to that plate even if it showed that. So now Pateras, we're back on the river, not as tight of a course. I think we'll go to 750.
Okay.
But if it doesn't run there at 750, then I think we're at the 800. But we had the timing backed way down to keep the motor happy as far as timing on it. The cam's not the greatest. That's kind of why not running it in 2.5. At Lakeland last year, my cam was going away. I was way down on speed just trying to survive the weekend. And we couldn't get a cam from Camcraft. So that's kind of how this whole idea came up. And so we got the timing back down to like 32. Well, if this is the 800 restrictor plate, that this is what we say we're going with, we got to get the timing back up to 40, or in the area of where you run it in a 2.5, because the whole idea is for a dad to be able to slide the restrictor plate out by loosening up the carburetor and go out, run 2.5, and then slide it back in. We don't want them to make it work, you got to run 32 degrees of timing.
Yeah, that wouldn't be feasible to change just in the water. I mean, you could, but it would be a pain.
Yeah, so right now we're just trying to get the restrictor plate size right, which I think we're there, and then now we'll put the motor back to 2.5. I bought a header a couple weeks ago. I may throw that on at one point to see if that changes anything, because we're just running my straight 2.5 Zoomy setup.
Okay. How are all the kids doing in the T class out there?
Good. It's been a battle between Carson, Haley. Katie is back up and going. She ran really good this weekend, and then Madden, being on the outside, are the 4 strongest boats out here, and pretty good prepared boats. Unfortunately, Haley missed a heat in Richland and a heat in Chelan due to some problems, and Katie's about the same. She missed Richland and she missed the heat in Chelan too. So I don't know if they're getting to 15 this year. Carson's got pretty good points lead. He's the only one that's been starting and finishing all the heats and been winning when they have problems. So points battle may not look like it's going to be close, but they're all pretty close. They were 4 wide a couple times this weekend for more than a couple laps.
That's awesome. That's
nice.
I mean, that's the whole essence of the T class right there, is getting those guys racing experience and getting a chance to race against each other. And we talked about this in some of the earlier episodes. It's cool that they've gotten that class up and running as well as it is out there. Yeah. And got a lot of new young blood coming into the sport, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And if the restrictors plate thing works out, I see the T class growing even more. So.
Yeah, I agree, but the biggest thing I'm worried about is the Toyota motors need to go away. They're garbage. We ran them the last 2 years. You can't get parts for them.
Yeah.
These new motors that we're all running that George got, there's only a few of them. Corey owns all of them. They're not enough to keep the class going. So I don't know if that's the future. There's a kid out here running another motor similar to that, I believe. That's an experimental thing that is more readily available. So hopefully they can figure that out. And the restrictor plate is a bridge for a father and son, but I don't even think the 2300 is going to be around that much longer. They got to start finding something for the 2.5 class, and I'm not in favor of the Honda motor, but they're going to have to do something. You can't get cams in, you can't get heads. That's a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you can go to the Beauport, but it just doesn't seem right to take a cast iron head to send out to get in to spend all that money to get a cast iron head back to put on a boat when all these guys are running aluminum heads. You know, it just seems like it's another band-aid for the Ford class, unfortunately.
Well, Finaris has been running the Beaupart head, and he's sacrificed some motors. And on the dyno, they make more horsepower, but it has not equated on the water. The aluminum head is still by far superior. Chris won a couple of heats in Yelm last year on Saturday, but we had a problem, and by the time Sunday came around, it wasn't. I mean, when we were running our normal speed, it was not even a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just another band-aid, but we'll see where the 2.5 class goes. You know, hopefully someone steps up and starts experimenting. You know, I I wouldn't say I'm for the Honda. I wouldn't say I'm against the Honda. I'm 100% against the price of the Honda. I can tell you that. I think that is ridiculous. There's someone needs to crunch the numbers and find out where all that money's going, because you can go buy a brand new one for a hell of a lot cheaper than that. So,
Well, even if the Honda was the way to go, you're looking at one guy. How is he going to build 30 engines?
obviously, it's already
If
showed
we
he
were to
can't
have
keep
that,
up with demand.
yeah, if we were to have that next year in APB and say this is your motor, he can't build everybody an engine.
No,
No.
So, but I do think they're going too fast. I mean, it's crazy how and what you can do with the gearbox. We know with GP, the Unlimited, and the 1-liters, it's a huge advantage. You spend way less money on props, and you get the one prop that works really good, and you gear around it, and it's a big advantage.
yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, unfortunately, with a lot of new engines that are in cars these days, the center line of the crankshaft sits too high. So, you know, I don't think you could get around it unless you do a 1-to-1 gear ratio, where it would just be like having a straight shaft, because they just this cranks sit too high in the new engines.
Yeah.
But they can figure something out. Hopefully they figure something out. I mean, the 2.5 class needs it. I know guys were sick of going to trying to find parts and calling around to 20, 30 different suppliers just to get a shaft or followers, or, you know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Someone will get on it.
Yeah, the motor that's the other option that's legal, the one that Conrad did. I've toyed around with maybe putting that in the boat and trying it out and see what just everything's gonna run different. That's a older Jones boat, and ours is a pretty good Henderson boat that's always been fast. So it's gonna run different in our boat, and that may be the motor of choice. But this is what scares me with experimental and that motor being legal is, do we have the inspection process or the inspectors that are capable of watching these ECUs? Because you get a guy like Ray Lynn or Jim Seckler, they're pretty smart and they can
Yeah.
manipulate a computer system. And if we don't have somebody smart enough to catch it, well, it's kind of hard to play by the rules. And
Yeah. I mean, one thing I can say for that is most classes in SCCA, they have ECUs. So, and I haven't heard too many problems with ECUs out of there. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't follow SCC all the time. I definitely was following it a lot when Brandon was racing in SCCA, and but they all run ECUs. So, there might be an issue with people messing with them, but
yeah, even if you go to a sealed unit, but it takes a lot of time and stuff. Like Kip has done with the motor that they're running in T that we're all running right now, and that we passed this year to allow his timing deal and all that, a big old fight. But
yeah,
when we were running it at what they had ran on when George brought them in, you couldn't keep them running. they would run. You can't have a kid class where it'd go out and run fine for 3 heats, and then it just wouldn't run in the final heat
Yeah.
or any heat, or you can get it on plane. Well, now whatever Kip has done with that timing on that motor, they are running consistently, not having any problems. And I don't even think they're running. Nobody's running near record speed at all, not even close. So I think it's a good motor and all that once it's all figured out, and we could put that in the rule book as is and be plenty safe. But the problem is whatever Corey has at Strong Shop, that's all that's left of that motor.
Yeah.
I think there's like 9 left. But you spend $300 on a motor, you get the ECU unit and the timing deal for, I think it's $2,000. That's crazy expensive. No, I was talking to Jay Michael this weekend. Every Mercury J hydro motor, he's got like 7 of them, and he told me they're 5,000, 6,000 a piece by the time they're done. By the time you get it, and then by the time you put it on the boat ready to go, you got almost $8,000 into it for J hydro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
To go 20, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Well, all right, Jeff. Well, we really appreciate you jumping on here and giving us your take on your record and the GP series coming up. Just want to say good luck and wish you the best down in the GP series, and hopefully I get to go to Valleyfield and can hang out with you all. So,
All right.
so
Thank you.
good luck down there and go kick some ass.
We'll try. As long as we beat that 35.
Good luck.
Actually, I'll be happy being the 77, but I'd be more happy when it's Andrew in it, so I guess I'll have to wait to Valleyfield.
I have to wait to Valleyfield.
Valleyfield's gonna be for all the marbles, man.
Yep.
Yeah, Valleyfield's going to be a showdown. It's going to be exciting, I think.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
Just to make it to the final, you're doing something right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yep. And again, congratulations on the record. That's not an easy thing to do. So congrats for that, and good luck at Guntersville, bud.
All right, appreciate it.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Good luck.
See you guys.
All right, so let's get another GP driver on here. I hear crickets. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, like getting a record. I mean, you can't just go out and say, "I'm going to go set a record this time." You could say you're going to try. You can go try 1,000 times, and you're not guaranteed anything.
No.
I mean, all it takes is the wrong wind, the wrong start, a wrong turn, a hiccup in the engine, and there's a million different variables why you don't get a record. Yeah. It just it takes the stars aligning, you setting up the boat perfect, hitting your start to perfect, doing everything just perfect to get a record. Because it's not like it was a slouch boat that said it before. It was Wally in the boat that's Jeff's driving. Yeah. Wally was super fast.
I'd say most of the records are probably that way now, right?
Yeah, they are.
With the amount of time that's passed, and like with kind of the modern style hulls and engine packages, there's been a pretty decent amount of time with those, 350s, 2300, stuff like that.
I think the only class that hasn't upped records in a long, long time would be the GNH class.
GNH, and then isn't one of the did a Grand Prix record get broken on Guntersville last year?
Grand Prix?
No. Yeah.
No, because it was assigned lanes.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You cannot set a record under APBA rules. You cannot set a record with assigned lanes.
Gotcha. I think that's one that
could GPs break a record? Yes, GPs can break a record right now. That record is super low to what they're running.
I was going to say
15 miles an hour or something like that. Pretty much everyone who went to Guntersville last year could have broke the record.
Yeah. I know Brandon was talking a couple times at a couple different courses, just referencing the record, obviously different courses, but sounds like he was close to it a couple times.
No, they all were. They all could have broke it.
So
we have any Facebook comments?
Well, we do have one, or we have a couple just talking about from Kyle Detweiler talking about the sealed needing a sealed ECU, seal on and inspected prior and checked after, and
Which I think is
tampering after
technically how
scan
it
and
is right
seal is
now.
a DQ. Super simple.
I mean, one thing you could do, I mean, it would be hard with APBA because you have races in Region 10, Region 6, Region 4. But these days with the mail, you'd be able to do it possibly is you have everyone buys an ECU, they send it to APBA, or you send your money to APBA orders all these ECUs. You must pre-register a month or 2 months ahead of time. Say you're going to a race. They take this ECU, they ship it to that race for that boat, or ship it to that race for that group of boats. So you have 5 boats, 10 boats running, you ship 5 or 10 ECUs. Driver's meeting comes up. 2.5 stock guy walks up, reach in the bag, hand him ECU, go plug it in your boat. That would keep tampering and cheating with the ECUs 100% out. But why are you giggling?
Jamie said, Bobby Kennedy, are we going to see you at a boat race?
Jamie. I'll be at a boat race. Don't worry. I don't know. I'm going to come with my rowboat.
We do have
Come with
a
my rowboat.
question on YouTube. What are our Guntersville predictions?
Guntersville's predictions. That's going to be a hard one. There's a lot of unknowns. You have Roger Mahan coming out, I think, with Jimmy King driving.
Yes.
With Jimmy King driving, that's an unknown. You have the 35, the 79, the 77,
71.
Yeah. Then you have Hop, who he's been working on it hard, and he's fast on big courses.
I won't lie. I think he might be my dark horse for this weekend.
Yeah.
I think he might come out.
He's going to be fast.
So he
the Charger,
at least win a heat.
The
I
Charger,
see him winning a heat.
The Charger's coming out with
Yep.
Richards Racing. The 17 with Richards Racing with Tyler Eccles.
Yep.
How can you make predictions?
So,
how can you make? I know I'm missing boats, but I'm just naming some just to toss out there.
We have a prediction from the almighty Kyle Bipes.
Yeah, I know it's not going to be me, Kyle. I'm not even looking at the comment. I'm not even looking at the comment.
He
I already
you're
know
too
what he
busy
said.
camping to go racing, but he said H1 is Andrew Tate and GP is Hop. So
he said it would be Brandon, but he doesn't want to be that guy. But
I would say Andrew.
Go ahead.
I would say Andrew Tate, just because I know when Jimmy Shane drove that boat, it was fast. The closest one to that was Corey Peabody. I would like to toss in there Wiggins, but they haven't even got the boat wet yet. And
you never know.
Total unknown.
But you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
This race in both classes, it's a toss up. You can't put in it. You can't just say, "Oh, he's going to win." No way.
Yeah.
Not in the GP. At all in this series, you can't say this boat's going to win.
I mean, even when you're just talking about it as a weekend, final aside, these qualifiers are going to be insane.
Yeah.
You're going to have Hop out there winning. You can have Brandon out there winning. You can have Jeff. Just about any boat at any heat winning. And it doesn't even matter who he's racing against because every single boat is a top competitor this year.
It's going to come down. You got to set the tone. Beginning of the weekend, you have to go lay. What are you guys laughing about?
It's there. We got the comments pulled up. Just keep going. It's not about you.
This you got to set the tone. Go out there, lay a fast lap in the time trials. The time trials are going to determine a lot. If you mess up in the time trials and you get lane 3, you might be stuck in the middle all weekend.
Now, one thing I will say, though, especially, I don't know if it matters as much at Guntersville and Madison with it being a bigger wider turn course. But in Valleyfield, we've seen lane 2, at times lane 3, be the place to be. Now, a lot of times it's come down to the boat that's in that lane. Now, I'm not saying that you go out in time trials and you intentionally don't get the fastest lap, but like, I don't know. I just feel like they're especially on such a big and such a fast boat on such a tight course. Like there might be something to be said for that, depending on what boat you're in.
If you want to take out the factor of the inside lane's the most dominant, Guntersville needs to make their course more narrow. Gunter, I said the Gunter, whatever. They need to make it more narrow. When I raced there, I think, and going into the final, I was lane 1, had the best points out of the weekend. It was my first year racing there. I burped it on the start just to make sure I didn't jump. I was probably 3 boats back from Jack, 4 boats back from Jack going in the first turn. I started catching him. I mean, and that lap I started catching him right before I broke. But so that just goes to show their course that they have there favors the inside.
Yeah.
That you can be late on your start on the inside and still catch up. I'd like to see narrow courses on all courses just so the inside doesn't have the advantage.
Yeah.
But that's like what I said. But for Guntersville, you want that inside. So set the tone right off the bat. Go get your go get lane 1 in that qualifier. You just want to dig and get as many points as you can right off the rip, because you get points for qualifying. So
yeah, no, I think Guntersville is definitely one where you gotta, like you said, you gotta go out and set the tone early. It's funny, I've joked with Austin because he raced the first HRL race in Cambridge, and I was like, dude, honestly, I need you in first or last because I don't want to be stuck in lane 3 the whole weekend in Sorel.
Yeah.
Where was I in Sorel? Lane 3 whole weekend, all 3 heats.
Yeah, you
and
get
it went all right,
seems
but
to happen with assigned lanes. If you start out in the middle, you usually get stuck in the middle for the whole weekend.
Yeah, you got to battle out of it. And like I don't want to necessarily say like I would rather be in lane 6 to start a weekend because that obviously means you're down on points. But without the time trial factor, I think the time trial factor makes it more interesting where like you can maybe be a bit more particular. Now again, time trials do have points though. Are they doing points for it in every single? Okay, so you know,
99% sure you get points for time trials.
But I don't know. Maybe you're a boat that that likes the outside lane. Maybe you'd prefer to be out there. Now again, you're gonna flip, but it's another element, and you know whether anybody actually plays any games with that. I don't know. Probably not, but it's just something that you can think about.
I mean, you might have a guy go out there and go 50 miles an hour in his time trial, so he's not in the middle. He stays at the outside.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things. Like you go out and let's say you get really light halfway through your lap, or you hook it a little bit going into the turn, and it's clear you ain't gonna be up at the top. It's like you almost, in some ways, you almost might want to just move on back.
Yeah.
But again, at that point you're banking on result when you do have that inside lane, and that's end all be all is you still have to perform when you get out on the course.
Yeah.
We've seen people lose. We've seen people finish dead last from lane 1. You go into the first turn and you don't beat them there, and you get put in one lane. Boat doesn't always make it through that turn.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like you said, that's depending on the size of the course and depending on how that first turn goes. Like that can be the great equalizer to lane 1. And I think in Valleyfield even more so. If you can beat that boat in lane 1 to the first turn and really bury them in that rough water, and even probably more so in turn 2, you can pull away pretty quickly.
Yeah, a couple years ago when I ran Valleyfield with the current 135, I had, believe, lane 2. I think I was lane 2. Jeff Bernard was lane 1, or maybe it was vice versa between me and Jeff. I don't remember. But Andrew got the jump on the start on us, and we couldn't do anything. He buried it in the first turn, and you can't run hot into the first turn when you have a boat on your outside at Valleyfield. I mean, you can try, but what are you guys smirking about? Bipes? What is Bipes saying now?
Well,
Fun fact for the day on Chasin Tails, brought to you by Kyle Bipes. Bobby and I will score the same amount of points on the GP challenge. That was a good one, man. I like that. Oh, damn.
Oh man.
Jamie McClure said Bobby 0 points for the year. I would bet money on that, Kyle.
$100.
That's how much.
$100 I get 0 points for the year.
Yeah.
I'm driving in Tonawanda.
Oh, not in the GP challenge though.
Oh no.
I think that's what he meant. But all right. So, barring the 35, since we've learned our lesson on that one, prediction, final winner, final answer, Guntersville. Bob, you go first.
Glad you said the name. Andrew Tate for the Unlimited. Not that I'm against any other Unlimiteds, but that boat was pretty fast with Jimmy Shane in it. And now that Andrew gets the more superior hull out of the Madison in the garage, I think that boat is going to be very hard to beat.
What about GP?
GP? It's going to be hard. That is hard. Can I pick a tie? It's between the 79 and the 35. I do not think
no 35.
I can't pick the 35.
We're
okay. If I can't pick the
default,
35, if I can't pick the 35, I'm 100% picking the 79. I know the 71 is leading in the HRL points right now, but they're not the fastest. They're not the first fastest. They're not the second fastest. They're not the third fastest. They're fourth or fifth fastest. They're consistent. That's it. The Wild One is very consistent, and I give them that. And it's awesome to watch them go be consistent week in and weekend out. That is a major, major accomplishment to do in a Grand Prix, in any Grand Prix. I mean, because I think not counting West Coast boats, I haven't seen them run this year, so I cannot say. I mean, I know the 17 is going to be quick, the 10 is going to be quick. Hop's coming with more speed this year, guaranteed. But 35, the 79, Ken Lupton and Jack Lupton are all faster. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying they're all faster.
I see what you're saying.
They're faster. So I'm going to go. Well, so both Luptons are in Brockville. I can't pick the 35, so I'm picking the 79 to come out on top of Guntersville. Right. But I'm not saying anything against the West Coast because I just haven't seen them run this year. They haven't had a race, so it's hard. I can't. Yeah. I'd be stupid to pick one right now.
Yeah. What about you, Austin?
I would say for Unlimited, I see TJ's comment of don't sweat the 40, which I don't think I am because I know they were cooking down there last year. I know Dustin had his blowover last year in Madison, so they had some repairs to do to the boat, but I don't know. He was cooking last year, even in Madison before he blew it over, and I could see them going down there on those bigger turns and letting it rip. So yeah, I think the 40 for Unlimited and GP. I would like to stick with the dark horse of Hop. I mean, bigger course. I know year after year they've gotten faster, and I can't say I looked at any testing or anything like that, but I know those guys are motivated, so would awesome to see them out there. And then, like you said, and like Jeff was saying when he was just on, their boat's not set up for one course; it's set up for them all. And those West Coast races having longer, they're set up good for out there. So I could see them also doing really good down here in Guntersville, having the bigger course also. So
I agree.
I go between Hop and Jeff, I think.
So you got to hop on top.
Hop on top.
Hop on top.
I'm gonna go JMK in the Unlimited. I know I watch testing. I'm not going off testing times necessarily, otherwise I'd pick Andrew, but JMK's got a knack for getting that inside lane. I know. I think somebody told me they dropped the 80-mile-an-hour.
They
rule.
dropped the 80-mile-an-hour
dropped the
rule,
80
so
mile
it's
an
a
hour.
totally different ball game.
Yeah, but he's raced like that before, and I believe they all
Which
have. Maybe not Corey. I don't know if
Corey's used to race 1 liter mods. So
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
So he's raced
5 liters.
Yeah, the trends
5 liters.
The
So
application's pretty much the same there. So
it's 100%. Now they dropped the 80-mile-an-hour rule. It goes 100% back to your grassroots. We're fighting for lanes in the smaller classes.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to who's better for fighting for lanes now.
I'm just gonna give just off of my experience watching unlimited races, some of the ones I've seen. I'm gonna give JMK the edge there, so I'm gonna pick him in unlimited.
I'd say he is really good at fighting for lanes, so it's a good choice.
Yeah, and then GP, I'm gonna roll it to 79 too. Thing's wicked fast.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen it run on bigger turn courses, that thing is just glued to the water and great attitude. I see it running really well on the Gunnersville course.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's going to be a great weekend. I think you're going to see multiple heat winners. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Jeff at the 79 for Gunnersville.
All right, so we got.
Don't worry, Brandon.
279.
Still team 35. And Ronnie.
Yeah, me too. Hey,
I know. Just gotta clarify again.
So we got 2 for the 79 because we couldn't pick the 35. But no, 79 is going to be super fast.
Yeah.
So 2 for 79, 1 for hop on top.
Hop on
top. And then so we're all spread out. We picked pretty much three quarters of the unlimited class. You got the bucket list racing. You got J Mokel Kelly and the strong, and then you got the Madison boat. I don't know who their sponsor is this year. It's Goodman. It's Goodman. Right?
Yeah, I am curious to see, because the one guy that really did really well with fighting for lanes prior to dropping the 80, Jamie Nielsen, had a knack for getting on the inside.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if it stays the same.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the change in difficulty in doing that with the 80-mile-an-hour rule or not. But I'd imagine if you're pretty good at it in general, you're going to be good at it with the change. And I mean, that boat definitely took a step forward last year. I would imagine it will keep taking a step forward. It looks awesome this year. And then you got Corey. So it's... one thing
I like dropping the 80-mile-an-hour rule. That rule created. I mean, I guess you kind of got that in fighting for lanes, no matter what, because me and Jeff used to do it all the time. But you got who was put in the water closest to the course, so you can get out there first.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different, because me and Jeff did it in 2.5 stocks back in 09.
You guys did it in 350 in Waterford the one
year.
Yeah, I guess it was 5.
It's whoever tries to get closest to the course. Me and Jeff one time ended up like over 100 yards away from the pits.
Oh, I remember
getting our boats pushed in Hampton. The funny thing is, me and him did that to try to get the inside. Right? Jeff looked at me and he's like, "So how far are we going to go?" And I'm like, I looked at my buddy Hatch, who was holding the boat. I was like, "Dude, just stop." So Jeff was already on my inside to get out on the course. And so they fired the 5-minute gun and we haul ass out there, right? We get out there, me and him are parked. He's parked on my inside. Fuck. Here goes one boat, another boat, another boat. We got leapfrogged by like 3 boats. We didn't even get the inside.
That's the worst.
Yeah, we still beat them though. They were all early on the start, so. But me and Jeff still beat them to the first turn, so that was pretty good.
All right, well, we got our predictions for Guntersville, so we got a few more that we got to do for Brockville, but let's
let's go Brockville.
Start off. You want to just start 2.5, work our way up?
Or
do you want to start at the top?
Yeah, because I feel I would like to start with J Stocks, but I feel bad. I don't know who's racing J Stocks.
Yeah, I've only gotten to see him race the one heat this year.
I'm going with Henderson.
Okay.
I'm going with Colin.
I'm gonna go with Mesinoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's up in the top 5 right now, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fun watching. And I think with those guys, they do get a couple of them that win a fair amount. But I also think just with how hectic it is with the starts and stuff, that there's a
Right.
pretty good variance in their heats, I think. And
Yeah.
I know they have quite a bit more of them this year. So we'll make sure we got predictions going into Valleyfield once we can see how the points are shaking up, how people have performed a little
I'm
bit
gonna
better.
get a spreadsheet of East Coast and West Coast HRL, just all the boats and names of people,
Yeah.
and put them up on the wall.
That's what we need.
My memory is not great for this.
Oh, and
All
I haven't been on an episode where you guys had the Chasin Tails behind you, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think last week was first time.
Yeah,
Last week
that's
before.
cool.
Yep, got it up.
All right, so let's go 2.5. We can't pick 35.
Yeah.
Can't pick
Can't.
35.
Yeah.
Okay, even though we have a Honda in it now.
Not yet. Can't pick us yet.
So it's got to be. I'm not picking Matisse because who knows if this one guy who is building these engines is fast enough to get it back together from the previous weekend going upside down.
I think he said. I think he just posted yesterday that it was already with him. It looks fine. Like should be good.
Oh, so he's that fast to take an engine down and put it back together? Come on, buddy, start pumping out engines if you're that fast.
I don't know how much it had to be put back together necessarily, but
if it swallowed water, you got to take it all the way down.
Yeah.
But who knows?
So who's your pick?
Who's my pick? 2.
Yeah.
EDT, holy crap.
Going with 2. S2.
Going with 2. All right.
Going S2.
Yeah, obviously I'm gonna give him my best go this weekend. It's hard. If I can't pick myself, I'm gonna go with Jacob. I mean, I gave him a pretty good run in that one heat. I was being pretty generous on the room that he gave me, and I was definitely taking all the advantage I could get on the inside. I don't think that I can get around him on the outside, so gonna do my best in these qualifiers to try to go into that final with an inside lane. But
this is going to be the tightest course that he's raced on, and most challenging course. So,
yeah, I said it last week on the podcast, and I wanted to race on Saturday. Like I said last week, though, after watching them try in the F on Saturday, I was like, okay, good call. But just knowing that I don't think we have the speed to run him down on the outside, or even if he were to run me real tight in lane 2, I don't know that we could run him. Maybe if we were going to keep trying to get faster, but you have to see. But the tighter and the rougher the course is, I think the better chance we got. Obviously, I'm going to have to do a good job driving, but this weekend was a big learning experience for me on running on such rough water, and I think I handled it fairly well. So hopefully we can keep building on that. Obviously, this will be the first time on Brockville's course, but we'll see how we can do and see if we can run that orange boat down, man.
Austin?
Well, 2 Facebook predictions before I go. We have Cy Bowen with the prediction of Kenny Brody. And since we can't vote for us, we have Scott Liddycoat predicting the 35 being victorious.
Shout out, Scott. Let's go.
But also, shout out to Scott Liddycoat and Weber for giving us some help this week, getting our seat inserts in after Bert's incident at Sorel. Our mom decided to be awesome and order us some seat inserts. We got mine made up and getting Kyle's here made in the next day or 2. So shout out for them for giving us the help to make sure that we're safe. But I want to go with I want to go with the Ford. I'm going to go with Brody. He's been fast, already chasing down the Hondas. So I think the tight course, him or Kyle can finally get around them.
Yeah, we're going to give it a shot. I know me and Kenny have talked over the weekend and at Sorel, and we're both on the same page, trying to show the Fords well and try to win some heats. I think Kenny got a heat win in the one heat on Sunday in Sorel. I got pretty close to getting one in that second heat on Sunday, so we're just gonna keep chipping away. And me and him were chatting on the way home on Sunday, and we're right there. If they make a mistake, we're gonna be right there.
Yeah.
That's if
I
we
agree.
don't have the speed to run them down, we got to stay as close as possible. And if they have a swerve, we're gonna need to be ready to capitalize. And that's my focus. Is just try to beat them in the first turn, get through that first turn as clean as possible, and then navigate it from there.
Yep.
So let's move on 2,500.
All right.
Go same order.
Go who?
Same order. You first.
Same order. I don't think the Honda is going to be super great at Brockville. It's rough water. We've seen what rough water did to Eddie Canfouche last weekend, so I'm not picking Eddie.
Eddie's got to have a comment. I want to see it.
Not yet.
Come on, Eddie. Let's hear it.
Dominic Mezenoff is in the 92.
Oh, is that who they got to drive?
That's unknown. I'm going with Grant Liddycoat.
All right.
I'm going with Grant Liddycoat in the F class for Brockville.
Okay. I don't hate that pick at all. I mean, he did better. He did a really good first weekend in F, and Cambridge did even better last weekend, in my opinion, overall for the weekend.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if everyone wanted to watch Eddie and John at Cambridge because it was the Ford versus Honda, right? In that final, Grant was right at the end of John's tail. He had two boats in front of him, and he was still keeping up. I'm like, if that doesn't show you that Grant's fast, I don't know what will. I mean, so it came down to lane choice for that final. So I'm giving it to Grant this week. I think Grant's going to get the win.
No. I can't say I totally disagree with you there. I see this weekend being a battle between Owen Henderson and Grant Liddycoat.
Yeah.
They both had their fair share of. I know Grant's hooked up a couple times in the turns. Owen's had his incidents flipping and whatever, but they're both great drivers, both very fast boats, both awesome looking boats too. I haven't commented on Owen's new paint job this year.
The watermelon.
Sweet.
Looks way better than the watermelon last year.
Yeah.
This
way
watermelon, that's actually awesome. But yeah, I know they had their little heat in Sorel too, where they all went 4 wide, and I could see it, man.
Yep.
I see 2 Fords running deck to deck at the front of 2,500.
All right.
So who are you picking?
Grant or Owen?
I think I'm going to go. I want to say Owen.
All right.
Owen.
He's been a little behind, but I think.
He's definitely a dark horse. He's someone that is there that eventually is going to be up front at some point this year.
Eddie said it's fine, Bob. I'm not picking you this year either.
Although I do agree with you, Bob, and I hope so badly that you're right, so we can have as good of a shot as we can this weekend. I am still going to roll with Eddie. I think Eddie's hungry after that final last week, and I think he wants to bounce back. And we know the boat's fast. We know the kid can drive. So,
we
got three young blood picks. I think the 92 is for sure going to be in the mix. I mean, Dominic has driven for quite a while, I believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, you add it up, it's probably like 5-6 years.
5-6 years. So he's got plenty of experience. We know the boat's really fast, so he's going to be in the mix. But I don't know. I like the young blood picks this week. It's going to be fun to watch. Like we said at the beginning, there's 4 or 5 boats at the front of that class that are right there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Eddie. But while we transition to the 350 class, I think this is the best time to bring it up. I want to congratulate Mark Lalonde on his plans to race in 350 next year. That's an awesome step. Definitely very deserved. He's been a competitor in the 2,500 for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do just fine in the 350. And, we wish all the best to Yannick. That's how you say it, right? Yannick?
Yep.
Yannick on his break. Enjoy the time off. Boat racing's stressful. It's a lot of strain on resources, time.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. I was gonna tell Bob to wear the shirt today, and he was already one step ahead of me. So, hopefully we still see you at some races.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want to play some beer pong in Valleyfield. We're always down. We'll be there.
A second little side note before we fully dive into 350. With Bert Henderson's accident happening in Sorrel, they announced Patrick Hayworth as the replacement driver for at least Brockville and possibly the rest of the season, depending on Bert's recovery time and how all that goes. So awesome to see that. I mean,
yeah,
Hayworth's
Patrick and Bert go way back. They used to run a 5-liter together. So it's pretty cool to see them, I wouldn't say sharing a ride, but Patrick taking over for Bert. Plus together. In the Unlimited, they were sharing the Unlimited ride when they both got the shot with Bartish. Yep. So they just have a long history together. So it's pretty cool to see that still continue.
Definitely. It's two big names in hydroplane racing. So
yep,
absolutely.
It's awesome to see them team up. I know he'll do great in that boat. Hopefully they got all the repairs done and can get right back out there and stay out of top. It's going to be fast. Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Picks for 350. Kyle.
Is the 242 ready? I think
big unknown.
I think
that's a very big unknown.
I'm gonna take a provisional. I'm gonna pick Bobby if the boat's ready. But
you don't get a mulligan.
It's not a mulligan, it's provisional. They're different. The provisional is only used if the first one is missing. It totally applies.
Go all the way in the hull.
If it is not, I'm picking Paul Barber. The dude has had such bad luck so far, and assuming we got an engine back on that thing, we've seen what that thing can do. I feel like he's gonna get some luck. I don't even know if I'd call it luck, just less bad luck, and pull out a win.
He has no luck at all.
For him, man.
He has no luck.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I would even call it good luck. I think it's just less bad luck.
I mean, for his sake, I'm glad he ran that engine because from what I heard, that was his San Diego engine that he was going to save. Yeah. That he put in it. It's a good thing he put it in there to find out that it wasn't going to hold up if he went all the way out to San Diego.
Yeah.
That would have been a really rough trip.
I hope they've got one back in there. I hope he's been able to figure out a little bit of whatever issue it's been having because it's multiple engines. I'm by no means an engine guy, so I'm not going to even sit here and speculate. But hopefully, and like we said, I mean, he's had 2 or 3 different engines in it, and it hasn't mattered which one's in it. They're fast. He's fast. So I'm gonna go with Paul.
You're gonna go with Paul?
I'm gonna go with Paul. I'm rooting for you, Paul. I want you to pull out a dub, man.
I'm going with the Bull Shark.
Bull Shark. All right, good pick.
I'm going with the Bull Shark.
Probably should have won last weekend. I don't remember what the penalty was for, and can't blame him because it seemed like everybody but Fred and Tyler got one, and Bert.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bull Shark. That boat was running pretty fast last weekend. That's the best I've seen the boat run.
Oh yeah, that thing's gotten faster every weekend I've seen it.
So what's exciting is it's the best I've seen it run, and it was in rough water.
Yes.
Where are they going? Back to rough water. So let's see if the man can pull it out.
Yeah.
Going Bull Shark. What about you, Austin?
I want to see Cadets up there, man.
That was going to be my pick, but I was trying to go off of what happened last weekend.
Yeah, and that's where I really want to see him up there. I want to pick him. He's been fast. And it just seems like some rough couple things. So if that could get over, that'd be awesome to see him. But going off of Sorrel, one guy I thought did awesome was Eric McKenna.
Yeah. He's been good all year. He was good all year last year,
looked fast. Oh. Really good through the turns, it seemed. And I did great in the rough water. So
yeah. That's the toughest class to pick in, man. Because really 8 boats could win at any point. I mean, really they all could. I mean, Fred can pop out a win. Allard could pop. I don't know if Allard's I want to say Did you see?
I
if
think
they did
last I seen it, it's
got
pretty
fixed?
much ready to roll.
Okay.
I don't know about
They
the
can pop.
engine.
I didn't think
They've
their
won a heat
boat's
this
ready.
year. Yeah,
Boat
they've
looked
won a
like it
heat
was
this
ready.
year. Like literally anybody can go win a heat. So, yeah. So what do we got? We got
GP.
yeah GP. Well,
We're not even
let's do
talking about. We're not
let's
even
do skiffs
talking about
first.
the what a GNH class or whatever it is. Right?
Skiffs.
Can't even go in
Let's do
there.
let's do
Skiffs?
skiffs first.
Stewart.
Which one?
Oh, the other one's a
it's
Lancia.
Actual Stewart.
Or no, they're
It's Max and Sam Alancia.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't know if Abigail and them would.
You're going
would
Max
run
Sam
as
Alancia?
well.
No, that's I said Stewart's. He asked which one.
Oh, Alancia.
I consider Jimmy.
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay, so you're
Alancia.
going Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy
Where are you going,
Stewart.
Kyle?
I think Max is gonna pull the upset out
You
this
think
week,
Max going to pull the upset out?
or Sam, whichever one drives. I'm pulling for him. I want to see it. I want to see them pull that little family rivalry win again.
Yeah.
I will say I think that boat doesn't have the best of luck, or not even luck, just doesn't seem to like the rough water very much.
No,
No.
Who's?
The 45.
I wish I could tell you if the skiff's
It
attitude
should.
was
It's
good
heavy.
or not. but I
Wait,
don't
or is
know.
that his old boat that was heavy? I don't.
I think it might have been the old one. I just know this one, the nose likes to go up on it. And even like in Decatur, Sam was talking like, especially even slow speeds, it was whipping the nose around hard and stuff. So,
It's all right. They're
maybe
gonna
they'll
drive.
through it.
They're gonna drive right through it. They're winning.
I'm Eastern Divisionals, so
Yeah.
I can't say the boat's slow. It's definitely
Yeah.
a competitor, and they've beat Jimmy a couple times, and I
We'll
can
see.
see him doing it.
We'll see. What about you, Bob?
I'm going to go Tom Packerdooney.
I hope they got their oil situation figured out, engine situation. He came over and asked Uncle G if he could borrow some diapers, or not borrow, but have some diapers. The
Oh,
oil
really?
ones.
Yeah.
He went into the bottom of the toolbox, he grabbed the whole damn Tupperware container. They got a
Who,
pretty decent
Packerdooney
size.
did?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That
And
might
then
have just
from
been
what I heard, I
Tom.
think he needed the whole damn thing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they had it packed up, ready to go Sunday morning already. So I hope they got that sorted out. We know they're a competitor if they get that thing running the way
If it's
way it
running,
has.
it's
It's always
going
a
to be
competitor.
fast.
Yeah.
I never count Packerdooney out unless he's
Nope.
sitting in the infield
Yeah.
down.
Right.
If he's running, I'm not counting him out.
For sure.
So
Absolutely.
I got Packerdooney. All right. GP. Just a little note. Going to have a new GP there this weekend. GP 39
Megavolt?
Megavolt.
Scheller.
That
They're
should
running
be there this
Brockville?
weekend. Yep.
I don't
Scott
know why I
Liddy
thought it
coach.
was-
Scott Liddy
Yeah,
coach driving in
That makes
Brockville.
sense, yeah.
So that's going to be added into the mix.
6 or 7 of them.
You got,
got both Luptons.
It all if the 104 shows up.
I believe the 104 is. So you got both
So-
Luptons, the 104, 212, the 757, the 50, and then 39. So yeah, was that 6 or 7?
6.
I forgot to
I'm
count.
bad at counting.
No, you didn't. I seen
stopped
you moving
counting.
your fingers. Dude.
Yeah, and it was not in
It
cadence
wasn't
at all.
accurate.
I was just moving my fingers. But
So
still,
who you
6,
pick?
7 boats. I'm gonna go with Jack. I'm on the train of like people getting off their bad luck train this week. I'm gonna go
Sam.
with Jack. I think
I'm going
not
with
that Jack necessarily had any bad luck in Sorel that I know of, but I'm gonna roll with Jack.
I'm going to go with Jack as well.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get it together. Both Luptons drive hard. Both Luptons know how to navigate a GP. I mean, all the Luptons know how to navigate a GP. So
While we're on the topic, Warwick Lupton getting back in a boat for Valleyfield.
Valleyfield.
That's awesome. I know it's kind of conditional on things going
Challenge,
well
yeah.
this weekend, but
yeah,
praying that they do because that's awesome. Another
Yeah,
boat
that'll
to
be
the
pretty
field,
cool.
and you got a guy with a boat racing history like Warwick.
yeah,
That's always awesome for the
yeah.
storyline, the plot, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm going with Jack. You're going with Jack. I think Jack can I think he can pull one out. He's fast. He's
just
gotten
like riding a
faster.
sheep, Jack. You
Just
got
like
this. bro.
riding a sheep. Or is it a cow? Or goat?
Goat. I don't know, man.
I don't know what they
Bah.
have over there. Bah.
I don't think
Bah.
Brandon knows. He says a different one every time.
We just picks farm animals.
Every time I think of goat, I think of that guy in 40-Year-Old Virgin. But yeah, I think he'll pull it out. I mean, he's gotten faster this year, and it looks like the handling of his boat's a lot better.
Yeah.
So
It still seems like it just from my observations, like it fights him getting off the turns.
yeah,
And I know that might not be ideal for Brockville, but I know that's something that they've put a lot of focus on. You know, it seems like he's talking about whether what they changed worked or didn't work every, you know, he makes his race posts as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of something that's always brought up. So I'm going out on a limb, say they're going to get that sorted out. That thing's a rocket ship. We know that. So,
all right, Austin, what do you got?
As long as it's fixed, going with the 50.
Going with the 50.
They put a lot of work into that boat on the off season. It's definitely
sure.
fast, like you guys were saying. Even in the heat that it did break, thing was moving. So
Now, who's driving this weekend?
I think Bobby, right?
I could have swore it was Brody
Dude,
with an
one of us has
announcement.
got
I
to
think it's
do some like memory training or something.
Yeah, we're really bad at this. Honestly, I thought it was Brody, but I could be totally wrong.
It was Brody.
It
But
was Brody.
But that's when the pro lights were supposed to run at Gunther'sville. But Gunther pro lights aren't running there anymore. They were canceled. So Bobby's probably running at Brockville with the 350 if it's put back together. So does he drive the 50 or does Brody just stay in and drive the 50?
Is the 12 not going to Gunnersville?
Actually, check the comment section. I
Yeah,
guarantee you Eddie already
Graham
answered it.
Trucking, Unlimited.
I don't
What?
know if they'll be
Oh,
down there.
Bobby?
I don't think
Yeah.
That
it
thing's
was
not
on the-
going. That thing's not going
Okay.
to Gunther'sville.
Yeah. I don't know.
Check
I
the
think
Facebook
either-
comments. I guarantee you Eddie's already answered.
How do you pull the comment section up and why did it go away?
Nope,
Nothing.
nothing yet.
Come on, Eddie.
Ken is driving the 50 this weekend.
Ken's driving.
Ken's driving the 50. I mean,
Yeah,
he proved in Sorrel that the man still got a foot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude
he
drove
does.
half a boat to a win.
Right?
I mean-
that's the best way you could put it. The drove half a boat to a
Dude,
win.
that picture of him pulling back into the dock that they
Yeah.
got, that was insane.
It was
It's just coming
heartbreaking.
up over the cockpit
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
you never want to see that.
No,
I don't care who they
especially
are.
And
from-
especially on a heat where, because they've had some engine woes, you know,
Yeah.
towards the end of last year and then beginning of this year in Cambridge. And it seemed like, at least for that heat, like they really got something put together. And then, oh, no, bottom of your response, it's gone.
Yeah.
Boat racing is not a forgivable sport.
Nope.
Mr. Nebelecki works his tail off, and I know he had Les's boat upside down. Changing
After
that.
Sorrel already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had and then had the 50 to fix.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Mr. Nebelecki's getting it all done. And then I know while Nebelecki was working on those two boats, you had Canfouche learning how to spray paint. Although Dan Canfouche should already know how to paint, because when me and him ran 2.5 stocks, he used to have to paint the side of his boat a lot.
Yeah, I remember we got to get him on one time and I'll just mute my mic, Austin can mute his, and we'll just let you two go back and forth. I was pretty young when you guys did the majority of your racing against each other. I don't remember like the details.
Yeah,
much,
'cause
but, you guys battled a
I-
lot.
Yeah, you were young because I started getting faster, so he decided just to go 1 liter mod racing with Sheckler.
Aw.
But no, I was definitely good racing. It was pretty cool to look back on and just see how many heats him and I had together and how much racing we did, and it was pretty cool. And you know you're gonna have Mike Monahan chirp in, "Oh, I was in there too. I taught you everything, Bobby."
Yeah. That's another one. Maybe we'll just Me and Brandon and Austin.
Dude,
will
you
take the week
get
off.
Mike
You,
Monahan
Mike,
and Dan
can
Canfush
all
on
just-
here. Oh my god. But,
we gotta get a deal with them or something. We get a certain amount of likes or views on one of these episodes. I gotta come on. I know Mike said he'd come on. I don't know about
Oh,
Dan.
yeah.
I feel like did you see the shirts that they made in
Dan's probably goes to bed at 7:30 at night.
They were all when we got there on Friday night. They were all wearing shirts because it was Dan's birthday, and it was a picture of
really?
him like this
Yeah.
instead of "Happy Birthday." It was hilarious. Somebody, I think it was Derek Anderson, wore it up on stage. It was funny.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there's our picks.
Yeah. We got a big weekend of racing coming up, man.
Yes, sir.
So, I
Sir.
think
So good luck. Good luck to safe travels to everyone who's traveling from the West Coast down to Guntersville, from Canada down to Guntersville, the East Coast, from everywhere, and everyone traveling up to Brockville. And good luck to everyone. Race safe. Come back to the shore in one piece. And
yeah, for those of you that are looking to watch the races this week and they aren't going to be there, Guntersville will be on the H1 Unlimited stream, I believe, and Brockville will be on the Hydroplane Racing League stream. Find them both on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. Comment like you do here, and look forward to a good weekend of racing. Like Bob said, best of luck and safe travels to everybody that's going to be on their way or already is. And thanks for watching another episode of Chasin Tails, and we'll be back to recap a big weekend of racing here in a week. Have a good night.